All right, guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to the garage. This is my 2022 Tesla Model Y long range. I've had this for over a year. And in this video, I want to talk about some of the safety and security features that these cars have that make them very hard to steal, very hard to vandalize, and what that translates in insurance savings to you. All right, guys, so I'm in my car here, my Model Y, and I want to talk about some of the reasons why these cars are very hard for thieves to steal. First off, there's no traditional ignition system where you can insert a key, turn the key, or a push button to start. There is no ignition system. You either have to have the key card, so these cars come with like a card as the key that has to be placed on the windowsill to open it and then placed right down here by the cup holder to activate it. So without that, or the key fob, or the phone, so someone would have to physically have your phone or the key card or the key fob to be able to open and drive the car. Without that, these cars are nearly impossible to drive. Some kind of a thief would have to have a very sophisticated Bluetooth device to replicate your Bluetooth signal from your phone to your car and activate it that way. So unless someone actually physically steals your phone, they're not going to be able to steal your car. Now, another interesting point about the Tesla phone key. So the reason I love my Model Y is it has this phone key feature, and all the new Teslas have this. My 2015 Tesla Model S does not have this. I wish it did. I still have to carry around the key fob. But the newer Teslas, this is a 2022, how it works is I set up the key with my phone and it works Bluetooth. So all I have to do is have my phone with me. I can open up the doors, I can start driving. I never even have to open the app. I don't have to turn anything on. It just knows that the phone is in proximity of the car and it drives. So that kind of brings me to the point that if someone could steal your phone, if someone steals your phone, they don't have to have the passcode to get to your phone to be able to use your car. So if someone just physically has your phone, they can use your car just like you can, and there's really no stopping them. So you want to make sure you're protecting your phone with your, don't lend your phone out. Don't let anyone get a hold of your phone, because if they do, they can use your car even if they don't have the passcode. Just the Bluetooth enabled on the phone with the car, it reads it, and you can drive the car, you can open the car without even getting the phone out of your pocket, without activating it, without even having the passcode enabled on it. Okay, another reason why these cars are not attractive to a car thief is really any kind of drive in these cars is really just going to be a joyride. Most likely, maybe the battery's around 200% or 200 miles of range in it, if you're only charged 50, 60, 70% in it, depending on the car or the range. But the car thief's not going to be able to get more than 200 miles, and they're not going to know how to charge it. Most likely all the charging equipment's going to be left at your home. They're going to have to go use public charging in order to charge it. So this car is not going to be a good getaway car because they're going to have very limited range when it comes to getting away. They're not going to have the apps to be able to charge. They're not going to be able to, if they start charging at a supercharger, Tesla supercharger, it's going to be charging under your account. You're going to be notified, and you'll be able to know exactly where they're at and where they're charging. So not very useful for a thief. Something also that these cars have, this is going to be like the newer cars, probably like 2017 and newer Tesla cars have the Sentry mode where it has all the cameras. So this has a camera inside, outside, 2 on each side, and then 1 in the rear. So it's got several cameras all around it. There's a mode called Sentry mode. You just activate it under the control panel here. I have mine set so that it's active when I'm not parked at home, because really I don't want notifications that I'm walking by the car, because really anytime someone gets close to the car, Sentry mode turns on, it starts recording the event, and if someone walks by the car, it will notify you that someone's walked by the car and record and store that event. When someone gets close to the car also, if they start tampering with the car, there's also an alarm that will go off. The lights will start flashing. So on the screen when someone gets close, it says there's like a big red recording icon. It says, Sentry mode enabled. It is recording their actions. So if a thief sees that, most likely they're gonna take off because they don't want to be recorded. So there's information all over the internet about and YouTube about Tesla recording these events, like people vandalizing it, scratching the car, people trying to break into them. That's recorded, and we see a lot of those on the internet. So that information is kind of widely out there that these cars record events like that, and it's going to deter people from not only stealing the car but also vandalizing it as well. Another feature that Tesla has that's really cool is the Tesla app. The app, you can track the location of the vehicle at all times. You can see on a live view, satellite view of the map. You can see right where the car is at all times, so you can always track the car. Even if it does get stolen, you can lead police right to exactly where it's at. Another cool thing is when you're on Sentry mode, live view, you can go into the app and you can see all the cameras around you. You can see a front view, side view, rear view of the camera. And you can even flash the lights, or you can even speak into the speakers of the car and, you know, maybe tell someone to get away from the car or something like that. So a lot of cool features on the app, being able to track the vehicle. One other cool thing that I use this all the time in my Model S. In my Model Y, I use it on occasion when I'm parking the car, if I'm leaving the car overnight somewhere, if it's not in my garage, if I'm out of town somewhere, I will use a feature called the Pin to Drive. What that feature does is it requires a PIN number to be entered into the screen every time you get out of the car and back in. So every time you get out of the seat and back in, you have to put a PIN number in order to drive the car. So that is a great way to make sure your car is never stolen. Even if you leave the key inside here, even if someone has your phone, they still cannot drive the car without that PIN number. It's a 4-digit PIN number. The cool thing too is on the screen, where the PIN pad shows up is it changes location. So even if someone tries to read where your fingerprints have been and so forth like that, they can't tell because that PIN pad changes on a regular basis. Now you guys might remember there was a movie back in 2005. It was called The Transporter 2 with Jason Statham. It has a really cool opening scene where he's in his Audi A8. It's the W12. Really cool looking, really cool car. But this is back in 2005. He pushes a button, a screen flips up. He's able to put in a code into his car in order to drive it. So these guys in the opening scene try stealing the car, and they can't steal it because it's coded. And I always thought that was a really cool feature. I thought it'd be cool to have that in a car. So I like enabling that because it really makes me feel like I'm the transporter putting in my code and having my vehicle secured like that. Also, another point, these cars are sometimes kind of complicated. Like if you have to have the card key and you have to put it exactly in a split place by the cup holder, driving it, the drive stocks, these cars are not like a regular car, and so they're a little more complicated to drive, to operate. You've got to do some research. And so a would-be thief that's just kind of passing by looking to make a quick buck on a stolen car probably is not going to maybe have the knowledge of how to drive these cars, how to operate them, so that's going to deter them as well. Now, all this information is great, right? I mean, it does make for a very secure car. You can feel very confident that the car is going to be secure and safe, that it's going to monitor activity around it, that you're going to have access to that information, and it's going to deter people. But really where I think it translates into a value to me is that it translates into lower insurance costs. I mean, this is a 2022 Model Y. I pay $63 a month for this car to insure it. That's full coverage. That's maximum liability limits, uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage. I have a very, very rich benefit policy, and I only pay $63 a month for this car. Now, I have multiple cars. I have a home discount. I've got a few discounts like that. But this car is not any more expensive to insure than a car of its same class. To give you an example, I have a 2022 GMC Yukon XL with the diesel engine. I've done several videos on this on my channel. That car and this car were almost the same exact purchase price. This one was $62,440. That Yukon was, well, $60,800. So they're within $1,000 or so of each other price-wise. That Yukon cost me around $70 a month. This one's $63 a month, so that one's a little more expensive to insure. With these cars having great safety features, autopilot, lane keep assist, the emergency braking, they're a huge deterrent to criminal behavior, vandalism, being stolen. I think that really translates into better insurance rates on these cars than a car of its same class. All right, guys, well, hopefully you found this informational helpful. These cars are awesome. They're loaded with technology features that help make driving more easy, more comfortable. They're safer. They're also a big deterrent to being theft and vandalism. So I think that's a huge plus to these cars. So leave your comment down below. Guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.